Now look, air and maritime intercepts happen all the time. Heck, we do it. The difference is when we do it, when we feel like we need to do it, it's done professionally. There was absolutely no need for the PLA to act as aggressively as they did. It won't be long before somebody gets hurt. That's the concern with these unsafe and unprofessional intercepts. They can lead to misunderstandings. They can lead to miscalculations.
Welcome back. That was Admiral John Kirby speaking at the White House from the briefing room podium earlier this week. His comments coming after the U.S. military had another close call with China. This shows the moment a Chinese warship sailed across the path of an American and Canadian Navy ship. This was in the Taiwan Strait. The American destroyer was forced to slow down to avoid a collision. The maneuver brought the Chinese vessel within 150 yards of the U.S. and Canadian ships. Now, the near collision came, as you might remember, just a week after a Chinese fighter jet flew within 400 feet of a U.S. spy plane. This was over the South China Sea, a move the U.S. military described at the time as, quote, an unnecessarily aggressive maneuver. With us now is Lieutenant General Richard Newton. He is NewsNation's senior national security contributor. Great to see you in person, General.
Thank you, Blake.
I was in the briefing room the other day when John Kirby said that. Kind of caught me by, not surprise, but just a moment of, we do these kinds of things, but the argument is that what China is doing is just another level that is dangerous and not safe.
John Kirby referred to that as being unprofessional.
Yeah.
And John Kirby, by the way, is a former surface warfare officer in the United States Navy several years or so ago. And so he's relating to that as actually being someone on the deck of that warship, watching that Navy or that Chinese, destroyer cross right in front of, just within a couple hundred yards. That's very dangerous. You've got a lot of young crew members out there. They're supervised well, certainly on the United States side. They're well led and well trained and so forth. But nonetheless, an incident like this could really heighten and create even broader conflict if not, as John said, if it's not curbed soon.
Where are we right now? Because we've had all these little incidents build and build and build and build. And I guess the question is it a matter of when something happens at this point and not if between, the U.S. and China?
I think it could. And Admiral Kirby referred also to where somebody's going to get hurt. Back in April 2001, Chris and I were just talking about this over Hainan Island, when a Navy J-8 fighter pilot forced down a Navy Patrol P-8, and then our 24 crew members were actually held hostage for 10 days. And that Navy, fighter pilot from the Chinese PLA Air Force was actually killed.
Right.
So it can lead to beyond just what this incident showed us right now.
But I've got a question. This seems to be intentional. Give us a sense of why China or any other country would seem to provoke or have this provocation in the air and the sea. We certainly aren't friendly to one another, but we're interdependent on them from an economic standpoint. Why is this happening?
I think they're just trying to show leverage. The fact that the United States is sailing in the Taiwan Straits, we're in the South China Sea. They don't like that. They think it's now their neighborhood. They're now growing in their reach, not only within the Indo-Pacific region, but now globally. And so I think they're trying to make a statement as well that they've arrived on scene. They want to replace us as the sole superpower. Not that this particular incident is going to do that.
But couldn't you do that through negotiations, as opposed to
we're not talking to them right now, right?
We're not. We've held off conversation. There is a lot of rhetoric going on between their Minister of Defense as well as Secretary Austin. I think we need to start there, by the way. We need to, as Admiral Jim Stavridis said, the former Supreme Allied Commander of Europe, we need to kind of tamp down the rhetoric. We need to establish protocols. We need to establish processes. But you need a willing partner to do that. And China and the PLA are not willing to do that. And it could lead to some, as Blake said, it could lead to some extreme circumstances.
So U.S. policy-wise, I would hope that we can walk and chew gum at the same time, and yet you can only have one number one priority. Do you get the sense from the Biden administration that they are looking at these increased provocations and putting China as the number one threat, or are we distracted with all of our other engagements? So Ukraine, we're sending fighter jets, and it just seems like it's ratcheting up in Ukraine as well.
Well, we would certainly like to set the priorities, but the enemy gets a vote in that. And Ukraine, Russia certainly has got our attention, and it should have our attention with what's going on, particularly with the dam being busted and so forth, and the counteroffensive supposedly kicking off. But China is taking every opportunity they can. While we perhaps have got our eye off the ball in Indo-Pacific region, they're willing to do some of these provocations and so forth. That's why we have to be as nimble and as flexible and as capable. The last point is, The only way we're going to maintain global stability and U.S. national security interests is through peace, through strength. We have to run those ships through the Taiwan Straits. We have to fly our aircraft in not only maritime, but free airspace to do that.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.